So, today we're going to be talking about the SWAT. And the SWAT is really good at one thing. It's bullets. It doesn't matter what weapon you use, you have a lot of rounds. You have rate of fire. That is your one gimmick. You shoot bullet fast. That is SWAT in a nutshell. No matter what gun you use, no matter what map you're on, no matter what you're doing, you shoot gun fast. This does mean that you don't do a whole lot of damage per bullet. So, you're really good at trash clearing, and that's really what you do for the most part, is you clear trash so that your bigger classes, like your sharpshooters, can end up still missing their M99 shots. It's basically what you do at the end of the day. You're basically the trash clear so that your big game hunters hopefully land their rounds. That's not to say you don't have good utility, and you can still work against big Zeds, but on the most part you are a trash cleaner. You're a lot like a commando in a sense, just with less team play and less utility and more fun weapons. So, since this is actually a moderately serious guide, we're going to go through what I suggest for skills, and what the loadout I run is, and the guns that are actually worth using on your SWAT. So, SWAT is a little strange with its skills. You start a game with left, left, right, left, right. The reason for this is you get the extra 9mm, which you can sell off immediately, and you get a shitload of armor right off the start of the game, for free, at no cost, which usually lasts you a couple waves, more or less depending on how often you die. After the first round, you just swap to full right, because you don't need the 9mm. It's not worth the perk, because are you actually going to use your 9mm? Like, hello? The heavy armor and assault armor training perks are still valuable. They're still good. I just personally don't like them. I personally find the other perks to just be more useful overall. But you can still take the armor perks if you want to. They do have advantages. You will be a bit harder to kill with them. I just don't find them as valuable personally. So, for guns, the starting MP7 is fine. It's not particularly good. It's a starting weapon, but it works. You usually can hold it for a few rounds. So do remember, of course, you've got only 15 weight, so pick wisely. So I either go one of two ways in a game. I either run the MP5 with the nail gun and the Chris Vector, or I run the G36C with the Chris Vector. So the MP5 nailgun Chris loadout is kind of a general loadout. The MP5 is your trash clear, your nailgun is your big game clear, and your Chris is your DPS gun. The second loadout, the G36C plus the Chris, is really a utility loadout, and in my opinion more convenient to play with, because the G36C makes armor a complete non-issue. Like, Matriarch and Riders just don't exist with the G36C, because it has AP rounds, and it's like the only gun in the game that has AP rounds, so, you know, it makes your life real easy. And the Chris just sits there for your high DPS. Of course, do remember that the G36C is a DLC gun, so either have a friend who has it, or pay up bucko. However, most of the guns on SWAT are still fine. SWAT doesn't have any truly standout guns like some other classes, but more or less most guns are fine. If I don't mention it, that means it's probably not worth buying, or I just haven't messed around with it enough yet. So, quick summary here. The MP5 is your general clear. It's cheap, it's easy on weight, it weighs the same as the MP7, but it's just better. It's a really good general clear option at 4 blocks, and it's just a good gun. The nail gun is the best gun against flesh pounds because it has piercing. If you put it in burst, it rips through ammo, but it also rips through enemies. So the nail gun is generally your flesh pound killer tool if you're running it. The UMP45 is okay. It has the highest damage per bullet on the class, but some of the slowest fire rate, so if you really want damage per bullet or you can't hit heads, the UMP is decent, but otherwise, eh. The Riot Shield Glock combo has a unique shield mechanic, where as long as you're aiming down the sights, you block 60% of the damage to the front. It also has a unique melee bash that doesn't really matter. It is DLC. It's good for tanking, because 60% damage block is huge. Like, it is super convenient if you get trapped in a corner or just are trying to tank for the team for some reason. So it is a fine option, but it's really heavy at 8 weight. It's the heaviest option on the class, and it's expensive. So up to you on that one. The Chris Vector is your general DPS gun. That's what it does. You use it on bosses, you use it on scrakes, you use it on more or less everything, flesh bounds if you need to. It's your general DPS gun. The G36C, like I mentioned, has AP, which makes Riders, EDARs, the Abomination, and Matriarch all significantly easy. It is 7 weight, it's pricey on ammo, but you make 2 of the bosses a joke, you make Riders a joke, and you make EDARs a joke. So it's a very convenient gun, and it's not bad on regular enemies either, don't get me wrong. It's just having AP ammo makes those enemies way easier to deal with, so I like it. It's not a must-have, but it is very convenient. The HMT-201, the medic submachine gun, is off perk here. It is a viable choice because it is a healing weapon, but it's the only gun on SWAT that cannot one-tap basic Zeds to the head, so you have to two-shot clots to the head, which is ugh. And it's 3 weight blocks, so if you still have weight left over, you're better off just picking up like the medic pistol and just running better primaries. The HMT-201 is fine, it's not really worth it at the weight, to be honest. I would only ever pick it if you have 3 weight blocks open for some reason, and you don't have a medic. That's the only situation I would. And the last gun I'm going to mention is your flashbangs. You can really set up Scrakes with these. That's their main purpose, to be honest, is you set up Scrakes, because you just chuck it at a Scrake's foot, and you just dome it in the head with the Chris Vector until it dies. That is the main use of the flashbang. You can stun flesh pounds with a single flash grenade if they're not enraged. So you can set up flesh pounds for your teammates or for yourself if you have like a nail gun. But if it's enraged, the flesh pound gains a massive resist, so just don't bother wasting your nades on them. The flashbangs do some damage, you can still use them as panic nades as well. They will not blind you, they will not blind your friends, which is convenient. So, apart from this, it's SWAT, it kites, it shoots lots of bullets, it is trash clear, and you have a little bit of big game options. Only other advice I have, really, is just kite. This goes for every class in the game, but I really gotta mention it, because it's killing floor, and people don't seem to understand that stationary defense is not a good idea. So just kite, always move. If you run tactical movement as a perk, which I highly recommend, you're 20% faster, and you don't have any slowdown while aiming down the sights. Super handy. It keeps your ass on the move, and if you like ADSing, it just makes ADSing literally free. If you're playing with a team, share a lane with a precision class. So, if you have, say, a gunslinger or a sharpshooter on your team, share a lane with them if you're holding an area. You're a trash clearer, but since you're not Firebug, you don't actively troll your precision classes. That's the main difference here. SWAT is trash clear without trolling the shit out of your teammates. So, if you have a Firebug, tell them to go away. Like, don't, like... If you have a Firebug, tell that Firebug to go play with a demo or something, because then you can just support a gunslinger or a sharp without having your entire team be trolled by a Firebug. The other thing is, ammo goes really fast when you have a lot of rate of fire. That is, like, you burn through ammo, so be careful with it. You can one-shot Zeds, basic Zeds, with any gun in the class except the HMT-201, so really only mag dump on big enemies, bosses, you know, typical stuff. Just be careful on your ammo. Just be safe of it. It's like your ammo is so expensive that team killing berserkers that pick up ammo crates is still not worth it. Like, it's that bad. And the very last thing, because Commando is in the game, you have to play well, or at least not play noticeably bad, because if you play bad or you just have toxic teammates, they're going to tell you to just go play Commando instead, because Commando has more util for the team. And that's the unfortunate reality with SWAT. Commando just kind of has more util for the team, so unless you really like playing SWAT, which I do, I'm going to play SWAT anyway, but expect to get some, you know, oh, can you switch to Commando, bro? Because most people would prefer Commando for general trash clearing. But we're not like them. We use SWAT, we use Bullet.